Dear friends, hello everyone. Today we have a Bitcoin review with you. Let's take a look at Bitcoin's dominance chart as well as Ether. What are my thoughts on Bitcoin? Well, first of all, let's start with the oldest time frame, the 1 month time frame. In this case, we'll see. Note that based on the wave analysis, here we have the first wave formed, the second wave formed, and Bitcoin has entered the third impulse wave. Bitcoin is now expected to go into a fourth corrective wave. And a fourth corrective wave, it's always more protracted, longer, it looks like a flat correction. A flat correction, which can be formed as some kind of flat, or it can be some kind of channel correction, or it can be a triangle correction. I mean, we can't know for sure what exactly this correction will be, but it will be. So, let's switch now to the daily time frame, more precisely to the weekly time frame, because we understand with you that we have formed waves, we have the third impulse wave, but again, we need to understand that wave analysis is more abstract. Everyone draws waves differently. In the previous showdown, I set up the waves differently altogether. I have now set up the first wave, exactly starting from this low to this high. Here, appropriately enough. That's about all it is, roughly, let's say. Here's a basic classic technical analysis. He stays. Let's take a look at the horizontal volumes. We understand that there is almost no volume here, but the volume of check starts from this value. So we set a certain level of $64,000, and then we start to have small volumes. The tool hasn't come here yet, it hasn't adjusted here yet. Then we have higher volume starts from this shelf, but here we can minimally, so to speak, set the level at $59,000, and we can still follow that level. Major strong support levels, straight up very strong support levels. Yes. As I told you last time and explained, when Bitcoin was still in this accumulation, I said that there is a support level of $38,000, $38,500, $38,400, approximately here approximately it stood, of course, not at these values, which now I have the level. What I was saying is that Bitcoin could correct here, and I was saying to take Bitcoin purchases from here. And accordingly it all worked out fine. Correction, it's needed, correction should be there. Accordingly, the correction that occurred yesterday is minimal. I wrote about her in my Telegram feed. First of all, I wrote in a private club. Let's look at my idea. Hi all, I expect a correction in Bitcoin of 11%. I texted you, sent you the schedule. Why I decided that, I'll explain in a moment too. Look. Here's the thing, Bitcoin has approached its global high, and you have to realize that this is what's called a long-range retest. The far retest doesn't go through the first time. I'll tell you more, it takes energy to break the global maximum. The instrument was approaching a global high on big bars, even based on the weekly technical, based on the weekly calculated move stock, based on the weekly ATAR, the bars, these are the ones that are considered impulsive, more paranormal than normal weekly bars on Bitcoin. If you calculate the estimated weekly ATAR, you will realize that these bars right here are paranormal. That is, more than 1.5 ATARs have been passed here. Accordingly, you have to realize that Bitcoin still has to get into accumulation and accumulate energy. At least for a while. Bitcoin needs to build up energy. Plus, considering that Bitcoin has already gone through a fair amount of technical headroom. In the third impulse wave, we need a correction, and I believe that correction will begin now. That is, it will start exactly near this global maximum. It needs energy to break it, and needs to consolidate well above the global high, and only then will we see a continuation of the move higher. Now let's switch to the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, again strong. We still have an important level of 52,985, but I am not saying that Bitcoin should correct necessarily to this level from the current prices. It is at 22%. Of course, if Bitcoin corrected like that, it would be very beautiful. I'm gonna take this level off, and here I have another level set. At this maximum level of $64,000. This level should be on the hour time frame, it is not needed on the daily. And this level is not needed on the daily chart either. I'll clean it up here, appropriately enough. Accordingly, what do we have? We have the $64,000 level on the daily chart. This is the level that comes from the high of this bar. Further, the instrument made a pullback and got into accumulation. After that, there was a breakdown and there was an overhang. The $64,000 level, the level is round. This level is the closest support on Bitcoin. Bitcoin has not reached this level, but there could be a refresh of these minima from yesterday. And accordingly, another retracement from the current 7 to 8%. That is, one more near-term correction is the renewal of this low, and it is possible that there will be a small rebound. I mean, let me set the level at this minimum. That is, it is assumed that now the correction will happen in this very way, and Bitcoin will show some kind of rebound again. Further, this level does not interest us on the daily time frame, so I will remove it too. We're interested in the level farther away from this minimum. $59,000 level, that's the minimum. This is the next low that Bitcoin could correct to again. So we assume this kind of movement, and then we can see this kind of movement. Accordingly, Bitcoin may accumulate here, may again retest the resistance, and it is possible that there will be a correction to the level of 52,985. But it's just levels. It's just understanding what Bitcoin's technical move stocks that are down and where Bitcoin might be coming in. If you look at horizontal volumes, you and I observe that Bitcoin is also going from volume to volume. Accordingly, our highest volume started 52,985. I don't rule out Bitcoin correcting exactly here. Now, this minimal correction that was here, it's a very small correction. We need to see a correction more, it seems to me. Accordingly, what do we have? We have an upward dynamic. And on this rising dynamic we have just two lows. So also when we break this, the daily rising dynamic, we may see a correction, so to speak, to the next level. Not only do we have to break through the dynamic, but also the levels themselves. Therefore, the nearest correction is expected from the current ones. Well, first of all, the stabbing of this low and the approach to the $64,000 level. Bounce off of him. Let us all. Let's go over it again. That is, the approach to the level of $64,000, the stabbing of the level of 65,600, a small rebound. And then the hike to the level of 59,000. Now we switch to the hourly chart. I had a large number of levels on the hourly chart because I am looking at the local situation. I also care very local because I take bounces more, such also local on altcoins. I need to understand where Bitcoin will correct in the very near future. So I drew a simple one. Levels by the lows under which the liquidity is located. But it's clear that Bitcoin, starting from this day, March 6, 3 p.m., you see, we have a low of 64.664 here, then a low of 66.82, here it is, another low, here it is, another low, And there was also an upward dynamic, local. And what are we looking at here? We are seeing liquidity piling up under each low here. So it's understandable that these liquidities Bitcoin would have gone to Stonewall, which is what happened. And in my scenario Bitcoin went to pump up liquidity, pump up every one of those lows. When there were these little spills, accordingly, everyone was taken off and rebounded. The correction happened, the plan, so to speak, worked out fine. Next. All the tools I give for trading, they work out very well too. Also right now, the Sella coin is giving a nice profit. Just recently posted all these setups, Axie coin, Reef and so on. I have 2 channels. Zdenova Trade and Spot. About the underline, Trading 12. This is a spot trading only channel and a general channel where I post reviews, trading tutorial videos, where I post my thoughts. And my primary focus is primarily, of course, trading and managing my money. Further managing some assets. Other investors. So I very rarely post video reviews, I just don't have time. And all of my thoughts that I see on Bitcoin, I voiced. I expect a stronger correction on the daily chart. The fact that there was a correction just yesterday is not enough. I expect a hike to $64,000 to $59,000. Just be prepared for it. Be prepared for Bitcoin to go into a 4th corrective wave and gain energy to break the high, really consolidate above it, and only then go to renew. Respectively, further their global highs to conquer the next peaks. I'm just waiting for a correction after all. And the main straight level from which you can take good purchases, this level in 90% of 100 will work out, that is a straight long position. You can go straight. If Bitcoin comes here, it will be just fine, because the 52,985 level is a great level to buy, very strong, very good level. At the same time, we need to realize that there is no volume here, and it is possible that we will fly through this place. Also on the weekly chart, you and I realize that there is no volume here, and the first level on the weekly chart that we are really going to encounter is exactly the 52,985 level. What on the dominance of Bitcoin? Bitcoin's dominance also stands in a sideways move. We have a flat correction, and accordingly I believe that the Bitcoin dominance will also continue to stand in some flat correction, as well as the Bitcoin chart itself. And only then we will go to this value of 59.9. And then it is possible to update some highs. And as long as Bitcoin stands in accumulation, as long as Bitcoin's dominance stands in accumulation, you should appraise of that altcoins will behave accordingly. So pay attention to the way Bitcoin behaves. Don't miss the opportunity to procure from the correction. Keep an eye on my ideas, my setups, because I'll be sure to give you entry points from the correction. Here, over the airwaves. On the Ether, the support level is $3,500. We haven't approached it yet, we haven't touched it yet. So hitting these lows is likely to get the airwaves going. And will likely bounce off the 3522 level. The next level on the airwaves comes from this bar right here. Here comes the mirror level, the high from February 26. And here it is, the minimum. This is 3196. So this is the next level to which the Ether can adjust. Let's note that this is somewhere around a 14% correction. We also have a stronger level, that is a very good strong level that 90% of 100 will bounce from. This is level 3036. The near-term correction in Ether could be around 14 to 18%. Not without bounces, that is, not without bounces, the lows will still bounce, there will be bounces locally and on the daily chart. But in the downward movement itself, you can also do a dynamic. When it's fully formed by the beam, we will have a downward dynamic that the instrument will be under and will not be able to break through it. So there could be this kind of movement here. We're gonna come in here, we're gonna stab, like, we're gonna do this. Then we'll adjust a little bit, then we'll go like this. So it's about this much. That's the kind of downward dynamic there would be. It's not gonna go down anytime soon, but while anything's possible, that is, it could plummet 14-15%. But Bitcoin, I think, will come with some savings of its own. Yes, if we switch to the hourly time frame, we realize that Bitcoin will come to this low before. To renew it, you have to save up and keep going. So be prepared to buy from a correction and keep an eye on those altcoins that look very good in the medium term. These are coins like Eagle, Clink, Adecordana, Avox and so on. Also the EOS coin, I mentioned that, but Solana already, she has potential already, she has quite a bit of potential already. I literally gave the idea of trading on long a while ago on it. Alright, good luck to everyone. This is purely my view of the market. It may not coincide with your opinion, and it does exist, and accordingly you may have different thoughts on Bitcoin. Maybe you think he'll go to $100,000 now. Yeah, I mean, that's my opinion, personally. I will trade like this, personally, at such levels. And all that, not a recommendation for action. Good luck to everyone. Bye bye. For now.